to a lunch by a group of my friends in Waterfront, and I was not familiar with the place, with the restaurant. So when I entered the main entrance of Waterfront, I was asking one of the staff of Waterfront, where is Cafe Uno, the restaurant where we were we had our lunch. And to my surprise, he answered me, it's just there, a few meters from the entrance of the hotel. And he called me by my nickname. So I was surprised. So this person must have known me. Who is this person? I really forgot who he was. So I was just smiling at him, thank you, as if I remember him. But deep in my mind, I was really thinking who this person was as I was leaving him and going to the restaurant. Right on the door of the restaurant, at the entrance of the restaurant, I finally remembered who he was. He was actually an uncle of mine, a first cousin of my mother. And I was so ashamed, I forgot who he was, when in fact he was just a very close family. I'm really forgetful, especially now. Nagkatiguan na, nagkatano na, nagkatiguan, kalitanon na. But I easily forget faces, I easily forget names especially. And I believe I'm not the only one in this world. I believe many of us also are forgetful. Many tend to forget important things in their lives. My dear brothers and sisters, the solemnity of Christ the King is a loud reminder for all of us, lest we forget that we have a God and we have a King, and that is Jesus Christ. The solemnity reminds us that Jesus, the King of the universe, is also the King of our own lives. This is a reminder because we celebrate this solemnity every year just before we begin the season of Advent. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, this brings us to a very important point, that Christ is our King, and to accept Him and to declare that Christ is King is actually not only an opportunity or privilege for us, but a reminder that we have our own responsibilities, we have our own tasks to do. Why? Because if you declare that Christ is God and you declare that He is King in your lives, it should have an effect in the way you live. Each action, each deed that you perform every day should point out to that reality that Christ is our King. We should follow every day His orders, His commands. We should follow every day the will of our King, because that is the way we honor and we respect our King. Again, we tend to be forgetful. We tend to forget the job that Christ has left us to do. Sometimes, husbands forget that their wives are not their private property, that their wives are their equal and should be given enough respect and should not be disposed of when the husband no longer wants his wife because there is someone else much younger or more beautiful than his wife. Sometimes wives tend to forget that their vocation is to keep their homes. That is the vocation of wives, and to keep their families intact. That's why many times we hear many wives complaining about household chores, about cooking, about cleaning, about washing clothes, washing dishes. If you complain, you understand that as wives, that is part of your vocation, that is part of your job. Sometimes children forget that being children, they ought to respect and honor their parents as God commands. Sometimes children follow orders or we tend to become obedient only when a certain command or order comes with a price. Sometimes they clean the house in exchange for something. Sometimes they study hard because if they become part of the top 10 list in school, they will be bought a new pair of shoes, etc., etc. Sometimes children tend to forget that as children, we ought to love their parents in return. Sometimes, or many times, as baptized Christians, we tend to forget that Christ exists in the hearts of those who are less fortunate. At times, as baptized Christians, we tend to forget that Christ is alive in the dirty people in the streets, in the dirty people that asks for little alms, little food, little water. At times, we tend to forget that Christ is present in our brothers and sisters, even though they also have their own limitations, imperfections, shortcomings, and the like. And our brothers and sisters, our celebration today is a loud reminder for all of us that if you freely declare that Christ is your King, Christ is our Lord, then it should have an effect in our day-to-day lives. After all, our life on earth constantly is a journey where every day we are called to learn the love that Christ has shown us. Love in Latin is caritas. It also means charity. So, from the Christian perspective, love and charity is one and the same. If you know how to love, you should be charitable to others. And if you are charitable to others, because Christ has taught you to do so, then you are not far from the love of God. And the brothers and sisters, today is a great feast, is Solemnity, because each of us is called to be happy, to celebrate, because our King is a King who knows how to love, and a King who has given us much love. But we should always remember, at the end of our lives, God will ask us how much love have we given in our lifetime. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, Amen.